Hello, hello, Success Coach Amy here with another flaming hot topic from Blaze, building a life with action, zen, and energy. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about parenting. And I mean parenting from the day your child is born, even before that, really. So a lot of people don't realize you are your child's first teacher. You're literally teaching them everything. That you're going to be there for them, that you're the one that changes them, you're the one that feeds them, puts them to bed, cuddles them, loves them, talks to them. Kids have no idea what's going on. Their brains are still forming. They have no clue about what is going on in this world. They don't even know what the world is. So you need to teach those children everything. And you'll be raising them for several years, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't realize I needed to teach them that. Okay. And you teach it to them. Some parenting goes along the lines of, oh, I'm just going to throw my child in the deep end of the pool and let's see if they can swim. I'm going to assume they can figure out how to swim. Or, I've heard this before, putting a child on a bike with no training wheels at the top of a hill and just let them go. Oh, they'll be fine. It's just grass. They'll be okay if they fall. Yeah, some parents believe that's the best way to teach your child. Personally, I don't. I think it is the parent's, guardian's responsibility to teach the child how to pedal on the bike, how to move when you're in the water and swim, and there's arms and there's kicking and there's breathing and there's all things. And it's not always instinct. And I think a lot of parents tend to think that way, that their kids are just going to learn by instinct or just by what they see or hear out in the world. And that's not, from my opinion, the best way to parent. You have to teach your children. Now, here's the other thing. If your parents didn't teach you, then you don't realize you need to teach your children. So this is a generational thing, cyclical, however you want to explain it. You need to realize that it doesn't matter how you were raised, positive, negative, it doesn't matter. Now it's about the child, the infant, the toddler. Every generation, the world is so different. We're in 2022. We're still coming out of a pandemic. So especially if you have up to even a 4 or 5-year-old right now, raising your child within the pandemic is so different than if you would have raised a child 5 or 10 years ago. Of course. Technology is different. Food is different. The environment is different. The world is different. We literally just hit $4.99 a gallon of gas yesterday. I'm 50. I don't think it's ever even been close to that. And if it did, it was for a very, very short time. This has been going on for months and months. It's part of the pandemic. It's part of what's going on across the oceans. We have a lot of stuff going on. So parenting is going to be very different now, again, than it was 5, 10, 20 years ago. And this is going to keep happening. This is the way the world works. Every generation, every decade, new things come into play that change the way we parent. And that's not a bad thing. Life is going to change. You'll hear me talking over a lot of videos about certain cliches that I grew up with. And one of the most important ones is the only constant in life is change. And constant means it stays the same. So technically, the only thing that stays the same is the fact that everything changes. Kind of sounds like an opposite thing, but if you really, really think about it, it's true. So kids go to school. Kids have been going to school for ages. Hundreds of years, kids have been going to school. So that's the constant. Kids go to school. But the change part is what they're being taught, how they're being taught. And again, now we have technology. I grew up with Little House on the Prairie, and I'm just picturing all these kids in all the different grades in one little schoolroom. And if you could afford a little chalkboard and a piece of chalk to write all of your math and your spelling and all the things that you were learning on there, that's great. Otherwise, you had to share or just look over someone's shoulder. Now we have so much to help our kids to learn. So school is the constant. You're going to school, but it's changing. The food is changing. That's a whole nother topic we'll talk about later, because I have issues with the way the food is in the world these days. But that's part of it. That's part of raising your children, is school and technology and gas prices and housing prices and unemployment. The food that we eat or that we don't eat, the air that we're breathing, all of that connects to raising children. And if you didn't already, watch the video on It Takes a Village. That's another thing that'll be more videos on that, because it's true. It takes a village to raise a child. We have so many different generations raising children. Grandparents are raising children. Aunts and uncles are raising children. So that the parents can work, if the parents are even in the child's life. That's another thing. Mental health challenges, physical challenges, drugs, alcohol, all of these are a huge part of a child's life. If the parent's not in their life, that could be the big reason. And then they're being raised by other family members. And they're going to be like, oh, when they go to school, I don't have a mom and dad in my house. I live with my aunt or my grandparent or a cousin. And they're going to be like, well, what happened to my mom and dad? And then the truth is going to come out, whether the child is 5 or 15 or 25, the child will find out. And that's going to change the way they think about things too. They need support. They need encouragement. They need love. They need that education. And again, education is not just from school. Education is within the home, within your community. And again, there it is. It takes a village. You have to have a community to help raise children these days. And then what does it really mean to raise a child, an infant and a toddler? Again, we're still in a pandemic, and it's very different to raise a child. My youngest is 13, so I don't have any kids anymore. I have teenagers. And it's even different now than when my 22-year-old was 13, 15. The world is very different. School is different. Life is just different, and you have to keep changing with the times. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and it's confusing. And some people believe that if you just keep doing the same things, everyone will be okay. But also a lot of people know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. And I know we have to use the term loosely, insanity, but that's what it means. You can't just keep doing the same things and expect everything to come out the same. It's not going to work. You have to start when your child is little. And if your child right now when you're watching this is 5 or 10 or 15, you can still make those positive changes. It's not an all or nothing. You can make changes at any time. There's another really old phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Yeah, oh, you totally can teach an old dog new tricks. You can teach an old person new things. It doesn't matter how old you are, 30, 50, 80. You can learn anything. You just have to have the want to learn and the stuff that you need to learn, all the different parts to that. So if you want to learn to be a better parent, even if you think you're a great parent, and you very well could be a really great parent, that's not what it's about. It's still just changing the way you think about parenting. You are your child's first teacher. Whoever you are to the child, you're the parent, the grandparent, the aunt, the uncle, the guardian, foster parent, I don't care. If you are helping to raise a child, an infant, a toddler, an elementary school child, you can still make a positive difference. Sit down and read with them. Talk to them. People think you can have a conversation with a 4-year-old. Yeah, you can. I don't care if the 4-year-old doesn't speak all that well and you can't quite understand them. Or maybe they just don't understand what you're saying. That's okay. Keep communicating, keep talking to them, keep reading with them. Get away from the technology. TV is okay once in a while, I get that. But sit and talk with them. Read with them. And really start getting to know your child. Their personalities are incredible. And they teach you as well. And that's the best part. You're always learning because of your kids. Again, you can learn at any age. And you are going to keep learning as your children get older. So for now, if you know anyone with an infant, a toddler, a young elementary age, school age child, think about that. When you see them, talk to them, read with them, talk to their adults in their life. Make sure they have books. Go to the library, reach out to resources. Resources in your community are amazing. And if you're not sure where to go, just start asking. Ask a teacher. Ask the pediatrician. Just walk into your local library. They have a children's section. Even if they don't have an actual child's librarian, there's a child section in a library. Just ask. And if they don't know, they're a community member. They're going to help. You just have to ask. Try it. Go read with your kids. Go talk to the kids. Get them outside into nature. Look around. Look at the trees. They say stop and smell the roses. Okay, well, stop and look up at the rain. Stop and look at the clouds. Just have that connection and that communication. And it will work. Stay tuned for more. Take care. Wishing you health, wealth, happiness, and freedom. Bye-bye.